Smooth podcastinator. That's your intro.
Podcastinator.
Perfect.
Okay.
Done.
That's the intro.
What up, everyone? It is
Oi.
episode 1 of... What's this show called again?
Team Talk.
Team Talk. Even Carlos knows the name of the podcast. Team Talk.
Team Talk.
Season 2, episode 1. With a new guest, a new host, Carlos Sainz.
Am I a guest or am I a host?
Both. You are not a guest. Actually, you are a host.
I
Sorry.
feel like you're very good at introducing this. I think you're the host.
No, I'm no host. Please. We have to take turns in this.
Okay.
Like every time. So I'll host you as episode 1.
Okay.
As a co-host, I will do the beginning part.
I
How does it feel to be on the show?
It feels,
Honored?
honestly, first experience. You know, I like podcasts. I think it's one
what's
of
your
my
favorite
favorite form
podcast?
of interviews.
Yeah.
To do nowadays, it is podcasts. Because it feels like it's more of a conversation rather than an interview.
That's
and
right.
I like conversating. I don't like interviewing.
That's right, media. You heard him. We only do podcasts now. Actually, why don't we do that? No more interviews, only podcasts.
I think there's already a tendency to go a bit in that direction.
That's true. I think fans generally want to hear us talk about
I
relaxed
think you can
things.
open up more about things, no, and you can go a bit more into detail of stuff. And there's not like premeditated 10-minute interview with 10 questions or.
That's true, but they have written stuff for us to...
No, but it's just guidelines, Alex. Don't look at the paper. Just conversate.
Fine. I'm going to read the paper. I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay. That's
You
exactly
are-
what I said we didn't do. Okay.
You were on the Stanley Tucci. Have I said his name correctly?
Yes, you have.
How was it?
It was good. Bit of a different thing for me to do.
Yes.
But I
remember
guess
you
it's
doing
exactly proves my point.
You enjoy
I'm
it?
trying to do more of those things where I can, rather than do a normal interview of how's the car going to be next week, how's the...
Did Stanley not ask
Team.
you that question?
No, not at all. It was like a full open conversation. It's called, I think, Cards on the Table,
Uh-huh.
because you pick a really random question. Like, I think the first question was, which Disney or which fiction character do you feel more
Resonated to. Okay.
resonated with?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
when would you be asked that question in a Formula 1 paddock?
Sure.
Never. So you
What did
go...
you choose?
I chose... What did I choose... I went for Lion King, and I was either Simba or the meerkat. You know,
I can see both. I
Timon.
can see both. Yeah. It's good
I chose
choices.
Timon because I said, I feel like I'm a lot more silly than what people
Uh-huh.
think, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm a lot more like silly than
Goofy.
goofy than what
Yeah,
people think I am.
Yeah.
And then I chose Simba just because of my dad, the history
Yeah,
of
yeah,
my dad
yeah,
racing,
good.
and me wanting to
Yeah.
kind of. So yeah, I
Good
chose that.
answers.
But it made me think. It's never a question I would have asked.
Yeah.
What would you choose?
I would have chose Lightning McQueen.
Nice. You went straight to it, eh?
Maybe. I don't know.
Try and give me a bit more.
In depth.
Yeah.
More legit.
Is there any Disney film you really liked when growing up? I really liked
Not
The
like
Lion King.
like they don't stay with me that much. Like I really don't have one where I thought
I don't know, Hercules, things like that.
I liked the Prince of Egypt. Do you remember that one? That was a good
That was
one.
a funny one.
Yeah, that was a
I
good
remember, yeah.
yeah. But I can't resonate as a character to that.
Okay.
I need to think. Like if you put me on the spot, I wouldn't know.
Okay. Don't
Oh,
go to Stanley Tucci then.
Apparently not. But he's a
Um,
nice guy.
He's a really cool guy.
Yes.
Apparently, really good chef, cook.
Did you eat his food?
I'm not sure we were eating his food. Good question. I'm not sure.
You were
I
eating
don't
food
think
there
so.
though.
We're just having our dinner.
Okay. Oh, this is a good question. Who, if you had a podcast, who would you have as guests? If you had your own podcast,
Hmm.
you get Stanley Tucci. You gotta invite him back on your show.
Yeah, I would invite him back for sure. It's a difficult question. I would try and bring people from all different. I wouldn't go just athletes and successful athletes. I would try
Diversify.
definitely those because I think it's the people that I could have more things in common and
Yes, sure.
go in more depth of
Yeah, it'd be
interesting
interesting to know
exactly
how
comparing
they
a
approach.
bit.
Yeah, yeah,
But I would also go for relevant people in modern times. Like I would go for sure a bit more into the tech world. I would
yes,
love to understand a bit more about AI and how is that gonna
yeah,
go in the future. I would
yeah,
go also. I don't love politics, but just maybe to get an update of the current situation
yeah,
globally.
yeah. I think having a good mix is interesting. And I think this is what Stanley does is he puts he doesn't he makes sure it's very diverse, the
Exactly.
guests that he has on the show, which is
He
quite cool.
got someone from TV, someone from music, someone from sports,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and we all sat there
yeah,
with nothing in common in theory,
yeah,
but then there
yeah,
were a lot of things more in common than what you think.
yeah, for sure.
And what I would approach the podcast is, okay, I'm an ignorant in all these things.
Yeah,
I want to be more. So there's for sure
yes,
there's a lot of people more like me that want to know about
yeah,
these
yeah,
things
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
want
yeah.
to,
Good.
I don't know.
What's the name of the show?
It's a good question.
Signs.
No.
Smooth podcast.
S- hmm.
Smooth
I'm
podcastinator.
normally quite good at getting names.
Smooth podcastinator.
Podcastinator.
Smooth podcastinator. That's your intro.
Podcastinator.
Perfect.
Okay.
Done.
That's the intro.
Yes. We have another random question. Who is the most famous person you know? I have no one. I'm already gonna say it.
Probably someone like
On your let's say famous contact on your phone.
maybe Rafa Nadal.
That's cool.
Um,
Have you played
that
tennis or
I've
paddle with
met,
him?
probably shake hands or have a conversation. Maybe Will Smith.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Was he cool?
he's cool.
Yeah.
Like Will. He's
Yeah.
one of my favorite actors too.
Where did you meet him?
Miami this year.
He lives in Miami, I guess.
I think so. I didn't ask. You?
I don't know. Have we had any famous people in the garage? Who? Tom Brady?
Good one. Definitely
Uh,
have him in my podcast.
Yeah. He's really interesting. Have you seen any podcasts
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
done?
That's why.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's it so far. Okay, good. Preseason, how's it gone so far? Well, now that it's ended, did you have any good moments? Any difficulties during preseason? Setbacks or
Honestly,
just
my biggest setback of this preseason was thinking it was gonna rain my last day of testing. That really got me a bit nervous because I was like, I'm not gonna have a lot of testing,
yeah,
and looking at the weather was terrible. It was said it was gonna rain all day.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like I'm in Bahrain. I'm only gonna have 1 day and a half of testing,
Yes.
and one of those days is gonna be raining. In the end, it only rained for, I think we missed like a couple of hours of running,
Yeah.
2-3 hours with the.
It seemed like
There
you
was a
got it back.
blackout also
There was a blackout
the
too.
day before it.
That's true.
So I was a bit nervous about the whole thing. Like, that's the biggest setback. But in the end, testing I think went quite smoothly
Yeah.
for both.
Yes.
Did you have any setbacks? No.
No, not in the car. I think in preseason I was out in LA, so I had the wildfires, so that wasn't that fun. We had we were supposed to do like a good month of training, and it was still good. We got it done, but moving around like trying to get away from it, but still very lucky. Like lucky to not have any issues with where we were staying. But yeah, in terms of driving though, no. I think it's been a smooth test so far. Like, I think also it helps to be the last year of the generation of these cars.
It's
Like
like-
the teams normally they're pretty on top of everything.
Yeah, I agree.
So it'll be. I don't think it'll be that smooth next year. With
Okay.
such a change.
You like it here in Australia, no? You like the track.
Yeah, I do.
So-
I like the track. It's like one of them confidence tracks, though. Like you cannot get it like straight away. It takes
No,
some
you
time.
cannot. You're not 100%
No.
in lap 1 like in Bahrain or.
And I think it
Barcelona.
will feel more different this year because we were attacking this track like race 4, race 5 on the calendar, or
You're
maybe.
right. Yeah,
and
yeah.
now it's like race 1. I think it will be even more like, because
Eye-opening,
Bahrain
yeah.
is so easy.
Because you've just done all the testing there.
You've done all the testing. The track's super open. It doesn't feel quick.
I think
And then
Friday,
you arrive,
first
green
5 laps
track.
of FP1, we're going to be like,
It's the one where like your first push and you're like 5-6 seconds off. You're like, and then Max has gone out and just gone and done
and they
it.
tell you a lap time.
You're like, oh, okay, some time to find. But it's a cool track. It's a really cool track. I think it's improved a lot over the years.
I agree.
I think they've changed the curb. I hope.
It is high grip though. That
It's
one
very
thing
high
that
grip.
helps is since they resurfaced back in 22, the track has a lot of grip and it gives you
You know, what,
confidence straight
I
away.
wonder if, like when they do that kind of thing every year, I feel like the grip must get less. Like it cannot just stay
Yeah, but the cars improve.
true.
So
And the lap times have been getting
Yeah.
quicker and quicker.
You know where I
every
felt
year.
that Barcelona is a lot lower grip than what it was 5,
Yes,
6 years ago
That's very true.
when you had the new tarmac.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
I was really surprised when we did the test. I was expecting more.
hmm,
I was like, oh, this is it. Like that.
this is it.
That was.
Well, it was
interesting.
a 45 car that was.
Yeah. Where do we qualify? We qualified P8 here with the
In
45.
23.
In 23, I qualified P8, and I was running P6 in the race.
I think you were quite handy around here.
Well, I was until I hit the wall, but it
In
was
your
a
favorite corner,
Yeah.
6.
5 laps in, boom.
What happened? You lost the rear.
We were doing we were saving the battery through turn 5. You know,
Okay.
the flat rides, like doing it with the K, and then because I was kind of out of place. I was like, I think I was
And
right.
you were not clipping into 6 and arriving a lot quicker.
Yes. So I went turn. We were clearly in FP2 and FP3 when we did the long runs. It was not even close to flat. And then we did a couple of setup changes and whatever, and the track was gripping up. So then it was like actually quite
Easy.
easy flat with the clipping that we had in the car, and I was losing a lot of time. So I think I had an Aston Martin behind me, and they were catching me so much through there, and I was becoming vulnerable in turn 9 and 10.
Okay, yeah.
So I was like, okay, I got it. Like, let's take off the clip and I'll do it. And I went through the next corner like still flat through 5, but then I've got 140, 150 more horsepower through the corner, so I've gone through it super quick. But I knew that it's not like I was dumb. I braked earlier for turn 6, but my rear left was like 20 degrees hotter on surface, and I braked earlier, came into the corner slower. Immediately
Still lost it.
lost it like immediately. Just
So it
things
was
like
more a
that.
tire than a wind thing.
All tire related.
That's
was-
one thing people don't know about F1.
No.
How much effect the wind or the
Yeah.
dirty air has.
Like-
Even having a car 4 seconds in front in a qualifying lap.
Yeah. Yes.
That's why when they
When
hear
people
us
are complaining.
no, I had bad traffic,
Yes. And that's
and
the
they
other-
see no, but I see no one in front of
Yeah.
you. They
And
don't
then-
know that by having a car 2 or 3 seconds in front of you, they've actually made you go 2 tenths lower.
Yes.
And
And for the same reason, drivers take advantage of that,
yeah,
and people don't
Yeah,
realize
it can
what,
have the
what
double-
impeding actually
double
does.
effect.
Exactly. Good. I've finished my card.
okay, I'll pick a few things that I have
Here
here.
we go.
written
Carlos, the
down.
host. He's on it now. Let's judge. Let's judge
Look,
Carlos's hosting
Good
abilities.
question from Ash. Fun questions here. Eh? I'm gonna pick. What is the most shocking thing you've learned about each other since becoming teammates?
There's nothing being shocking.
Or is there any? Let's not be spicy. Something that has shocked you about me. Something that not shocked you, but surprised you. Let's use the word surprise. And I'll say something about you too.
Shocked. Nothing shocked me. You've not done anything that I've gone well, not especially not in a negative way. No, I think more. I'm surprised that we are quite aligned
Okay.
in many areas, on track, off track, where we want the car to be, even if it's slightly different driving styles. Still want the same things in the car, but then off track as well, like where we think the team need to improve, and
Yeah.
even in the smaller things like in travel,
Alright.
we are still aligned in them areas.
Yeah.
So that's been nice. Like that's been a good, positive thing. I think if anything, it's more just. I'm surprised how committed you are. I think just in terms of like the approach to the team and bringing them forwards, like that's
Okay.
been really nice to see.
You thought I was gonna come here to hang around or what?
Not hang around, but like I remember my first year when I came back from Red Bull, and I see you doing really similar things to what I did in my first year when I came here. Like I had like all these things where I was like, we need to organize meetings.
All this list
like
of
what are we
things.
doing? Like this and these and these. I don't have that now because I've kind of integrated myself,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like there's not anything extra that I feel like I can bring to the table, really, like
Yeah.
in them areas.
Something new.
Something new,
Yeah.
exactly. Where so that's been good. Very
Yeah,
good.
I think I have that newbie effect of someone new with new info and new things. No? But
Exactly.
I think that then fades away because then you start working more time together.
Exactly.
That's why we need to stay on top of things, Alex.
Yeah.
For me, about you, you're super sensitive to some stuff. Like even
Mm.
on meetings, I sometimes say about the car with the brake pedal, the differential maps, the brakes. I'm
Yes.
getting a bit technical here
Yeah.
for some of our fans, but
Yes.
like when we debrief about things, technical stuff after the test, obviously I still like a bit of experience with this car, so I
Yeah.
don't feel everything that I would like to feel
Yes.
because I am still filtering other feelings,
Yes.
new feelings.
Yeah.
So sometimes in the meetings I was like, ask Alex, like
Yeah.
there's this thing that I'm sure Alex will feel a bit more than me, or this thing
Yeah.
that Alex can give a bit. Because I've seen from the beginning that you give very detailed, very good feedback about certain things that maybe I'm still getting a bit up to speed.
Yeah.
And I've said,
It's
many
a lot of the
times-
things that we talk about, like when we go. We're obviously not going to say what the areas that we feel like we need to improve on. But last year, I kind of ignored it and was like, I'm just going to drive around these problems, and it bit me, and I realized like actually we really need to fix these problems. So it's like, guys, it's happening again.
Well, if that's the
let's get on
case,
top.
you're becoming better at it.
Yeah.
Because you've picked up a lot of things,
Yeah.
good things, I think, also for the team to stay on top of.
Yeah. No, it's been interesting. I think we're starting this year far more on top of the
Small
car
detail.
than we're already in small. For me, we're already in small details.
Okay. I'm gonna choose another one. Did we get along when we were younger? And what were your first impressions? So we were 12.
I was yes. I think you were 13. I was 12.
Yeah.
You were in your last.
What was
year
the image of
KF3.
like the first thing that you thought
You
when
were
you
so back
heard
then.
about me?
Back then you were factory Tony Kart.
Yeah.
Factory Tony Kart, for people who don't know, that's like you're in like the Ferrari kind of
Of karting.
of
yeah.
karting. It's not necessarily the best team, but it had the most prestige.
Yeah, prestige.
I would say.
That's the right word.
And I was in like a back then
Smaller
I was in
team,
a small team. It was like an English team, and
What was the name?
Mick Barrett Racing. So
I remember.
I think I was always shy, especially when I was a kid. I was extremely shy. So I was more like, oh, I'm in the big leagues now, kind of thing. And I remember that you were really smooth. That's like my first thought was like, back in karting, you were super smooth with driving
As
style.
a driving style.
Yeah, like very clean, which I still think you have to this day, like very clean, like
Inputs.
hit every apex. Like there was not like I think when Max was in, he was a bit more like rougher with the kart, right? And I was way more similar to you in terms of like trying to keep the lines like very
Yeah.
U-shaped, very like that kind of thing. That's what I remember. I think you're a clean driver as well. Like in karting, there were definitely some dirty drivers.
Yeah, that beat me a few times.
Yeah.
I was too clean for karting.
Yeah.
I think in karting paid off being more on the other side
Yes,
of being
for
too
sure.
aggressive because you couldn't pick up of 70, 80 drivers being dirty,
Yeah,
being selfish in a way.
Yeah, that's
and
for sure.
it was all about also the reputation and how
Yeah.
if you were really, let's say, it's not the right word, nasty, but if you were pushing people off, you would gain respect and people wouldn't bother you.
Yeah.
And I was too much of the nice guy.
Yeah.
And I think you were a bit the same to me.
What's weird to me was I didn't change that, but just by winning races, I gained respect in a different way.
Yeah.
Like people then would just not
Let you buy more.
let me go, like
in
stop defending for me,
practice.
and I'm
Yeah.
like,
In karting, it was that
I
effect.
haven't changed.
I remember it happened the same to me. My last year of karting,
Yeah,
just because of the reputation I had built,
Yes.
people on track would respect you a lot
yeah,
more.
yeah.
To-
But back then, it was always you, Nick, because I was still growing.
Daniel
I think
Kvyat, Nick De Vries,
yes, Nick De Vries was like the
Rafael
one.
Marcello, and myself. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
were the top 4 at the time.
yes.
For me, it was more.
I finished fourth in the WSK that year, which was like for me, I was like, oh, I'm a privateer.
Yeah.
Like that's good. But it was only the year the year when you went into Formula BMW, that's when I started to I joined Intrepid
Okay.
and I took over Kvyat's seat
Yeah.
with his mechanics and engineers and whatever. And then
You
and then
started
it was
winning.
good. Then I
Wow.
started winning, but not immediately. Not immediately.
Mhm.
Like took me a couple races.
I remember you were quite tall in the car.
Yeah,
You were
big.
also a bit chubby
I
at
was
the time.
I was chubby.
So
You weren't chubby.
and I was quite slim.
Yeah.
And then I remember you always being very quick in the wet.
In the wet. Yes.
So even at the time, if I had to follow a guy in the wet,
yeah.
I would.
It's
go.
my
I
kart
was
team
very
was
good in the
very
wet, too.
good in setting up a cart in the wet because I think they were just used to it.
Because they were British, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember when you were in karting, you would always, a Spaniard like me, like
Yeah.
we always had reputation of not being quick in the
yeah,
wet,
true.
and the British guys would be.
Yeah.
But I never had that. I was always quick
yeah,
in the
that's
wet.
true. That's true.
But I remember, like, if there's a guy I'll follow in practice, see what lines he's taking, and I remember like kind of waiting for you, going behind you, just to learn a bit
Yeah.
if you were doing something different.
That's true.
And,
Because back then, people going into details now, but the style of wet driving has changed so much. Like back when we did it, it was all wide lines.
and now everything
Now
is
everything's
curves.
tight.
Yeah.
It's so strange. The
Yeah.
carts are way softer now as well.
Really?
Yeah. They've softened them up and they're all like, that's why they can use all the curbs and everything.
That's interesting.
I think
Because
'cause
at
the
our time
tyre-
it was
'Cause it-
wide V
Exactly.
V style lines.
I think the tires have got stiffer, so the chassis have had to become softer to like get back the
interesting.
same roll stiffness. But yeah, when I was testing last in Dubai before Bahrain, they were explaining it to me. I was like, makes sense,
Okay.
makes sense. But there's so much aero now in karts,
Aero.
crazy.
No.
They have all these like the nose cone and the nacelle panel, the airflow now, and they've got these things where the nose cone at speed it starts to drop
No.
to like get right to the bottom. They want it to be touching on the
Front right height.
Yeah, the same. It's changed so much.
Like flexi wings.
Yeah, honestly, they have flexi
That's-
wings. So all
that's
the
nice.
plastic, you know where you had the clips on the back. If you push it now, they're so soft, like crazy.
This,
soft.
in a way, kind of throws me off a bit. I don't like it. The amount of money
yeah,
young
in karting,
racing drivers are paying in karting. It's
got
one of the
ridiculous.
things as a GPDA director, I know I'm probably not going to make a change, but my target in like life as a racing driver in a
Yeah.
way is
Yeah.
trying to make the basics of motorsports
for sure.
a bit more affordable,
Yeah,
because it's nuts. The amount of money now
now
young
it's
people
becoming
need
pay
to
to win.
spend to compete in karting.
Yeah.
At our time, it was already getting out of hand. I remember
Yes.
the figures people were paying.
Yeah, sure.
It was getting out of hand.
Yeah.
But where they are
Now
15, 16 years later,
it's got crazy. That's very true. And I think which is a strange concept is I know karting was useful, but if I have my own kid do karting, I would not prioritize
the best material.
the best material or anything. I would make sure they have a good mechanic and a good driver coach and
Yeah.
we create a good system. But I would save my money for the single-seater stuff, for sure.
Yeah.
Like I would definitely. How many people I know who've run out of money in kart? They want to make the next step. They go into the next step. They can only do a year of Formula 4 because
That's a good point.
they've spent it all in karting. Like
But it's normally
the whole
drinks
thing is
the
too
whole-
expensive.
Anyway,
I mean F4 now. F4, the amount of testing happening in F4 is
No, I know.
more than karting.
I
Like,
know a guy that owns F3, F4 testing team,
Wow.
and he's becoming obviously very wealthy because there's so many people out there doing that. Anyway, I think this gives us a lot of podcasts, but that's one thing I personally would like to.
Yeah. No, it's a good
tackle
point.
in a
It's a
way.
good point.
I don't think I cannot have any ideas now of how that could happen, but
They
it's-
had that spec series in karting, the CIK FIA. Do you remember back in the day?
anyway, back to Atlassian Williams Racing.
Sorry. Tell me, last question. You go for the last one. You got a few there, so I don't know. Are they all just think questions? Like you got 3 pages of questions?
No, just maybe before we go, because I think we're
Oh, I got one. Now that we're in Australia, we're in Sydney.
Sydney.
What do you think of the Aussie way of life?
I love it.
You like the
That's
culture?
one thing. Well, there's many things I like about.
Yes.
But that's the one thing I would take with me.
Yes. I love how fitness, athletic focused the country is. It's so active. You go outside at any point in the day, there are people running, there are people, getting after it. That's very cool to me. The
I
food's
love-
great.
Also, because
fresh.
when I land here, you have a bit of jet lag, so you wake up always early,
Yes.
and that immediately forces you
Yeah.
5 a.m., 6 a.m. to be fully awake, and I feel very active at that time,
Yes.
which in Europe I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But it's a
I'm
morning
immediately
city. Yeah?
like wanting to go on the bike, running, golfing
Yeah.
at
yeah.
6 a.m. and that
Yeah.
immediately puts you like you're feeling productive and you're
Yeah.
feeling healthy.
Yeah. I love
the
it.
breakfast is really good. Here
Breakfast is great.
They have good breakfast.
Their
culture.
mornings, like 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Is the best
Is
routine.
like Australia's like got it sorted.
And you see everyone when you go out at 6:30, and it's their normal time for them, and they're all fit, training. At least in Melbourne, in Sydney, also I saw
Yeah.
yesterday people,
Yes.
a lot of people. It's just a good. I tell you one thing I don't like because
Tell
we
us.
also need to.
We have to tell the negatives. It's not all positive.
One thing I don't like is. I shouldn't say this.
Wait, you said it now.
People on the road driving.
Bad drivers.
No, they are very, like extremely legal.
Oh,
The
very
moment you
legal.
don't you forget an indicator, or you do.
Beep.
Hey, you're crazy. What are you doing? I mean, like,
What
I
experience?
haven't put anyone on danger. I just forgot.
The problem
Like,
is
you were 50, 100 meters behind, and you
yeah.
spotted me not putting. And you could, like, people are really, they lose it.
I don't.
And I had a few occasions where.
I don't remember this. I've not had.
I
this.
always drive, okay?
Yeah,
I always,
yeah.
even when we are on the road, I
Yes.
always drive the cars.
But
And look, I admit that maybe Spain has a bit of work to do on
I think quite
certain-
relaxed driving.
It's a bit
standards,
relaxed, but efficient, good
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
way, not crazy either.
yeah.
Australia is
I think
country.
in general it's quite a quite strict country.
very strict
Like-
in these kind of things.
Yes.
For a Spanish guy,
Yeah.
almost like you feel too strict in some certain
Right.
things.
Yeah.
But I love their.
So if you see a driver going rogue in Melbourne, just know
I'm
that
relaxed.
there's a very
I'm
high
super
chance.
relaxed. It's not. I'm not putting anyone in danger.
But
Like,
they
I'm
think
super-
you are.
I'm a good driver.
So if you see a rogue driver in Melbourne, there's a good chance it's
Not
Carlos.
putting an indicator, maybe it's me. Yeah. Or forgetting one indicator.
Good. Well, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
How was that as your first experience?
I think it was cool, no?
It was good.
These dangerous, we need to be careful. Because I feel like it could last a lot longer than...
Told you. And it
No,
does.
because of our fault.
Yes.
Like, we start talking and we don't stop talking. Like, we need to give ourselves a bit of a
Not
time.
me. Everyone's pointing at me, but I think you did the most talking today.
But
in this
because I was your
podcast.
guest.
No, you
Next
are the
time.
host. You are the co-host.
No, we said
We
I was
need to
your
hold
guest
each
today.
other responsible for the
Episode
amount
2,
of
you
talking
are
we do.
I'm the host, you're the guest.
Oh, we swap it.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Next episode, we have a new guest on the show, me. Stay
Anyway.
tuned.
Ladies and
everyone.
gentlemen.